Okay, so sex. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. We've asked for your questions all about sex positivity, so we're just gonna answer them for you basically.
Here we go.
So as someone who is on the asexual spectrum and also quite vanilla, but being very sex positive, how can I combine those things, especially asexuality and sex positivity?
Hey girl, time for me to get involved. So essentially, I'm not actually that big of a fan of sex. Hello, nice to meet you. We do exist. Again, I'm not a particularly sexual person either. I don't want to go, like I said, because I'm a teacher, I don't want to go too far into it. But I have been shamed a lot for that. Especially by dudes who are trying to get in my pants and they're like, you just haven't found the right dick yet. I'm like, oh, okay, or I'm just not attracted to you. And I'm also extremely sex positive. Like, I am 100% all for people doing whatever they like if it's consensual and you are consenting adults. It's a difficult line to tread because you kind of feel like you're left out, but please remember that asexuality is a real and valid thing. People don't have to understand it for you to feel that. You don't have to be a sexual being. I know that we're told that obviously it's what our worth is put in, and it took me a long time to realise that actually, you know, just owning myself and my non-sexuality is what makes me very special.
So special.
So special. And also that doesn't mean that you aren't ever going to be attracted to people, and I also think that you're never going to have a partner ever. You're allowed to, and also in terms of the vanilla sex, like, you're allowed to have vanilla sex. Not everything's got to be spicy. I mean, look at me, I'm the walking definition of vanilla in every way, shape or form.
I think it's really important to note that sexuality is such a spectrum, and wherever you fall on that is completely valid. There is absolutely nothing wrong with loving sex, and there's nothing wrong with not being interested in it. In the culture we grew up in, there was a big thing about like, oh, you're frigid. If you don't put out, you're frigid, but if you do have sex, you're a slut. You literally can't win.
You can't win. In terms of like sexual experience, you do you.
Absolutely, and it's like fucking your body, your choice. And I think you can combine not being particularly interested in sex yourself with still being positive around the topic of sex, still being supportive of other people's sex lives and sex positivity.
Oh yeah, whenever like one of my friends has sex, I'm like, yeah girl, get it! Why? You can have no sex, you can have vanilla sex, you can have spicy sex, you can have hardcore sex. It's whatever you want. In the last 6 months, I was diagnosed with herpes, which I got from a long-term partner who was not upfront with me. I'm nervous about talking to my friends about it, or the idea of telling future partners about it. No one talks about it, and there is a real stigma, even to just hear other people's thoughts on STIs, because they're always portrayed as disgusting, and that the people who have them have a particular type of reputation. On the topic of STIs, I think the most important thing is openness, and this is for heterosexual or, you know, homosexual relationships. Knowing where you stand with your own sexual health is important to be able to then talk to your partners and be open.
But I don't think there should be a stigma, because all kinds of people get STIs. I mean, in some cases that was pretty much out of your control, and even if it isn't, you know, we all make mistakes. I mean, I know I have not always, you know, when I was a teenager I was not being as careful and as protected as I should have been. That doesn't make me like a horrible, gross person.
No.
I just wasn't educated enough, and I think that's the key. Like, we all just need to get more educated about protection, about consent, about STIs, and not be ashamed of talking about it.
Never be ashamed to bring up sexual health with a partner. As soon as a sexual relationship is on the cards, it should be the first thing that is addressed.
And also on the topic of protection and safe sex, that is something that you have to, like, you can always demand. That is a requirement. When we were growing up, like, I experienced lots of incidents in my teen years where guys would just be like, oh well, I don't like using condoms.
Oh yeah, what is up with that?
What? Well, I don't like being pregnant, so fucking deal with it, like, put it on. That's not like one person's decision. They don't just get to be like, oh, I don't like it, so no. Like, no. If they are entering you, then they fucking put on the outfit that you tell them to put on. before they come in.
And also when it comes to protection, remember that there's not just one form. The condom is not the be all and end all. You got femidoms, you got dental dams, you've got the pill, the coil. But remember that the best form of contraception is to use more than one.
Multiple
contraception.
A goodie bag, a pick and mix.
Yes.
Can you talk about how some sex positions have been terribly taboo for heavier girls? I'm still not able to get on top because it makes me terribly insecure for them to feel my entire weight. I would really like to know how other people handle these kinds of insecurities during sex. Babe, get on top.
Suffocate him.
You do not have to miss out on that pleasure because of how you think they're perceiving your body. And what was it like you said earlier?
Oh, your full weight's not on them. Even when you're on top, you've got to remember, like, your knees, your legs are still taking the brunt of the weight. It's not like you just fully, like, lay on top of them and be like...
That'd be really boring sex.
That would be. I'd be like Will from the In-Betweeners. Yeah, and if he dies, he dies. Worth it.
There are some positions that have to be adapted depending on your body type.
I've googled this before, so just literally Google fat girl sex positions. Lots of stuff will come up, lots of tips. You can get things like wedges and pillows, which are really good for taking a bit of extra weight and helping you to get into a more comfortable, accessible positions.
But in general, don't be scared of getting on top. Don't be scared of how your body looks or if it's too heavy. And your partner will say if they're not comfortable. Get on there, let it all jiggle, let go.
And again, like, girl, he knows that you're fat. Okay?
Yeah, back to that.
Back to that.
Classic point.
It's not a shocker. Okay, so I'm so tired for being called a slag and easy for showing my body off. I've struggled so hard with body image and now I'm happy with it. People still want to tear me down. Why do people still feel the need to do this?
This is something I talk about quite a lot. Slut-shaming people for showing skin, being nude. I think the big problem we have in our culture is that as soon as we see any kind of nudity, we're automatically like sex.
Yeah.
Like we cannot see a naked body without thinking that it's for someone else's sexual pleasure. But there are a million different reasons to embrace your naked body, and it can be completely for you and about reclaiming yourself without it being for someone else's pleasure.
Other people's opinions don't matter. I know obviously it's so easy to say. I don't actually get like in my underwear, I don't wear skimpy clothes. But the main thing is that whatever you choose to wear, whether it is showing off skin, showing off body or not, it doesn't matter because it's your body, it's what you're putting on it, it's how you want to dress, it's how you want to be perceived, and other people's opinions of that do not matter.
And like from a feminist perspective, nudity like empowers some people, modesty empowers others. No one else has the right to tell you what should empower you or what you should do with your own body. That is your choice, that is the beauty of it. Just because you choose to show some skin on the way to embracing your body, only you get to define what that means.
Yeah.
Like no one else gets to tell you what that means to you. You get to decide that. How do you respond to people judging you on the amount of people you've slept with?
Tell them to fuck off. I mean, I feel like we come from different ends of the spectrum on this one because my number is very low.
I don't think it's reasonable.
Yeah, it's average. When I tell people, people are like, oh, like that. And I don't understand what the big deal is.
It comes at both ends of the spectrum,
yeah.
And ultimately it is literally no one else's business how many people you've slept with. Also, it's not a reflection of your morality, like it's just not. Let's separate that. Let's separate how many people someone sleeps with for like their moral character. You can sleep with as many people as you like and be a good person.
Absolutely. I mean, look at Hugh Hefner. Stellar guy.
Maybe there's a better example.
Donald Trump?
It's just getting worse. Who slept with a lot of people but it's nice?
Satan? Me and my girlfriend, both girls, have been dating for 7 months now, and I still struggle with the idea of her seeing me completely naked. She's half my size and I'm covered in stretch marks and rolls. How do I feel better with the idea she loves me for who I am versus how I perceive myself? Well, first of all, get it, stretch marks and belly rolls. That's what I'm all about.
I think it's getting over the image that you have in your head of what sex looks like and what body types engage in sexual acts. And like Jodie said, we've all been conditioned to think that a certain way, particularly in like porn culture. It's often a very exclusive, narrow body type.
Oh god, especially in lesbian porn.
Yes.
Honestly, it's like two newborn teenage girls have first lesbian experience.
Oh my god, yes, especially since most lesbian porn is made for the male gaze.
Absolutely. I think one of the things is to remember that, especially as women, we are all taught that our body is not good enough, so maybe open up a dialogue with your partner about this. There could be times when your girlfriend has had thoughts like this, but on the opposite end of the spectrum.
And you know what you could do as well is find some representation of like diverse couples being celebrated. There's some amazing like photographers on Instagram that take pictures, like sensual pictures of couples, like boudoir photography, or you could even have a photo shoot like that yourself.
Oh yeah.
And like go and do like a sensual photo shoot and get used to seeing your two bodies together being celebrated, because that's what needs to shift. It's that image in your mind that your bodies like don't go together when obviously they do.
Absolutely. Jigsaw pieces do not look the same, but they still fit together.
Oh, did you just come up with
that?
Oh god.
I did just come up with that.
That was amazing. This is an interesting one. Do you think it's okay for girls to call their friends or other girls whores or sluts in a joking manner?
I, for one, am all for this if you are both on board. There's nothing more than I love saying, you slag. It's the same with any kind of subjective humour. You both need to be on board with it, and you need to make sure that it's not coming from an unbalanced power. For example, I think that it would be very difficult if a guy with more power is telling a woman she's a slag.
And it's the whole thing of reclaiming certain words. There are lines, like certain words I think should be reclaimed, like the word fat, take it back, own it, use it as a positive thing.
Yeah.
And even like, I never used to like the word bitch, but now we're like,
oh bitch! Oh bitch!
Bitch!
Girl.
Yeah, so...
I use bitch all the time.
I think it's possible to reclaim those words positively.
Yeah, I was going to bring up Amber Rose's slut walk, which obviously is all about reclaiming the word slut and gives a lot of power to sex workers and very sexual beings.
The word slut is like rooted in shame. Like you're supposed to feel wrongful, you're supposed to feel ashamed of having sex with a lot of people, and that's what a slut means. But you know, fuck it. Just destroy that meaning of the word slut, because there is nothing shameful about having sex with as many people as you like.
Oh my god, yeah, it's like, oh, you're gonna call me a slut because I enjoy having sex with lots of people and really good sex? Oh no!
What is that quote that's like, we live in a culture that will shame people for having sex and eating junk food. Excuse me for enjoying my miserable life filled with pleasures.
Fill it with all the pleasure you want. Why are women shamed for going into sex work when it's men who tend to hire sex workers? Why does anyone need to be ashamed at all? I really love this question because I am like 100% pro sex workers. I think it is a job just like any other. I think it's a job that deserves to have, you know, the same rights and privileges as other jobs. It's got a real stigma surrounding it, which is ridiculous. There's a big difference between being forced into sex work, which you are not consensually doing, and choosing to be a sex worker, which millions of people choose to do.
That stigma that sex work is like selling your body. Hun, if you do any kind of labour heavy job, like if you're a construction worker, are you not selling your body?
I'm a dance teacher, which means that I am constantly selling my body.
If you are a feminist, you have to include sex workers in your feminism. They are worthy of respect because it's about choice. Even if it's not something that you would choose to do with your own body, that doesn't give you the right to shame or belittle or judge someone for doing that with their body.
Absolutely. And in terms of the why is anyone ashamed at all, I think this goes way back to yonks ago, decades ago, centuries ago, when sex was seen as a sin. Everyone who participated in it was seen as shameful. Then obviously the stigma changed a little bit, so it was seen as just the women who were shameful. And I'm hoping now that we can go into a society where it's not seen as shameful at all.
And I think it's this whole thing as well of of not judging women for surviving in the cultural landscape they've been given. We live in a patriarchal society where there is huge demand for sex work, where women are sexualized pretty much everywhere, and it's not fair to then judge women for getting by in that narrative. It's the same as like diet culture. As much as I fucking hate diet culture, I don't blame individuals for going on diets. Like they're surviving the best way they know how in a world that's taught them that they need to diet. So
Absolutely.
it's respecting women's own choices about their bodies, and the fact that all women are worthy of respect, even if they are very different to you and doing things that you personally would not do.
And here's the thing, someone being a sex worker is not taking away anything from you. You are completely two different beings. Just because you both identify as women, it does not mean that you are the same.
Okay, so sex.
Done.
Thank you so much for watching. That was really fun.
I enjoyed having questions.
Me too. Maybe we'll do more question answers.
Let us know in the comments what topic you'd like us to go at.
Get sexy with.
Do.
Yes, definitely. Let us know if you enjoyed it. Give us a thumbs up and a subscribe so you can see what's coming next. And
you're so professional. She's got this YouTube down.
We'll be back
soon.
We will be back soon. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.